In this video, we're going to look at the demographics of gratitude. We know that as we age, we get more grateful. One reason this happens is a growing awareness of our mortality, which causes us to be more appreciative of time and what others do and have done for us. It all stems from a growing awareness of the finiteness of time, that we don't live forever, and the growing perspective that today is actually a gift. You can see here that as we age, we are more likely to regularly express our gratitude. And this continues to grow into our 60s. The motivation for expressing this gratitude is also related to age. The older we get, the less likely we express gratitude because we want something from others, be that being nice, kind, or having them be generous to us. This is something we're more likely to do when we're younger. Marital status is a significant predictor of gratitude. Married people are 50% more likely to regularly express gratitude and 50% more likely to be thankful for so much in their life, and they're twice as likely to be satisfied with their personal and family lives. The Harvard study on aging, which has been going since the 30s, has found that deep relationships are the backbone of a long and prosperous life. Women, as compared to men, women are more likely to express gratitude. Women feel they have more to be grateful for, and they express gratitude to a wider range of people. The only place where men are more likely to express appreciation and feel they receive the right amount of appreciation is at their home with their spouse or partner. The two things that make both men and women the most grateful are when a spouse listens to them and when a spouse expresses affection. Pretty simple. With higher social class comes increased resources and less dependency on others. What research tells us about having more access to resources, it causes us to be more self-focused, less aware of others. Worse, we're worse at empathizing with how others feel, and we're more likely to be disengaged in social settings. Ultimately, valuing their own welfare than that of others, and more likely to have more positive attitudes towards greed. A couple interesting studies here to share with you. First is at a pedestrian crossing. Researchers placed someone at a visible, well-signed crosswalk in a city where it's the law to stop for pedestrians when they approach a crosswalk. They video recorded and observed who stopped, who didn't. And they looked at the make, age, and appearance of the vehicle to determine social class. Here's what they found. Your basic sedan stopped 100% of the time. Luxury vehicles stopped only about half the time, 55%. They did a similar study at a four-way stop and had almost identical results. Now, we have to be careful to walk away from this being judgmental about the upper class or young people or single people or anyone for that matter. We just need to be more aware. And before you get too judgmental about the upper class, you need to know about the Monopoly game study. Researchers brought together college students in pairs to play a game of Monopoly for 15 minutes. They flipped a coin in front of both players to determine what their roles would be. Whoever was heads, they went first. They got twice as much money to start off with. They got to use 2 dice instead of 1. When they passed go, they collected twice as much money. The game was rigged in their favor. So the researchers, they video recorded the games, and in a very short period of time, the advantage players, the ones who the game was rigged in their favor, they're talking down to their opponents. The bowl of food that was sitting on the table, they brought it closer to themselves. They ate more of the food that was put on the table. The lower class opponents, their body language was poor, as was their confidence. At the end of the game, when asked to explain how they won the game, the advantaged players all said things like, "Oh, it was my strategy, my smarts, or that they were better than their opponents." Not one of them mentioned the random toss of a coin that sealed the deal for them. How often is that us in any given situation? The good news from the Monopoly study is that as soon as the upper class players were reminded that the game was rigged, they somehow regained a healthy sense of empathy, and in particular, empathy for their opponent. Children don't develop the cognitive ability to understand gratitude and really develop the internal desire to say thank you on their own until they're somewhere between 7 and 10 years old. One study that focused on children experiencing gratitude in the aftermath of 9/11, they found that girls are more likely to be grateful for family and friends, and boys more likely to be grateful for material objects. Research has found that early adolescent children benefit from practicing gratitude. 6th and 7th graders who made gratitude lists felt better about school. Other research found grateful children had more friends, missed fewer days of school, got better grades, had fewer tummy aches. With children, while you can ask, "What are you grateful for today?" you might want to try something like this instead, at least to get the conversation started. "What was the best part of your day?" And you can use what we learned in the previous lessons about the benefit appraisal to ask more questions. Why is that important to you? Why is that valuable to you? What did so-and-so do or give up by doing that for you? Right? This helps children to understand gratitude because you're intentionally digging into and getting them to notice the benefits and the sacrifices. You're deconstructing it with the benefit appraisal. All this information on demographics is not meant to pigeonhole people or justify judgments about them, but rather to help us be more aware of the generalities that are related to gratitude. You know people who fit the generalized descriptions, and you know people who don't. Keep moving through the lesson. You're doing great. If you have questions, send me an email. You've got 4 habits, 5 languages, 6 hacks, 10 thinking traps, the Gratitude at Work framework, and you've got several tools to help breed more gratitude into your culture, whether that's at work, at home, or in the community. The time to put them to use is now, and you are ideally suited to make it happen, and we really need your help. In fact, we're counting on you. And I don't care whether you're just getting started or you've got 30 years experience. If you want a more positive, a more productive, a more engaged culture, a culture where people just love showing up and giving their best every single day, then see it as your job to make that happen. I mean, of course, other people have a role, but make no mistake, it's your job. I know you can do it, and I know you have the skills to do it. If you're wondering, how am I going to do this? What am I supposed to do to breed more gratitude? Just finish the topics in this lesson. We're going to keep taking one step at a time. And this isn't about making wholesale changes to everything. It's about making a little progress every single day. In our final lesson, we're going to cover incorporating more gratitude at work. But don't wait to get started on it. Seriously, don't wait. You're ready, and you really should get going on it now. Thanks again, and until next time, I hope you find lots to be grateful for, and we'll see you in the next lesson later.